Donald Trump's new thing at his rallies is to get his supporters to vow with their hands in the air that they're going to support him no matter what happens between now and the time to vote. Now, that's a little bit weird, but it would be almost understandable until you actually see this ceremony going on. And you're going to see that in this video.
You can go out and you can vote early. So go and do it. Go vote. You got it. Okay, wait. Let's do a pledge. Everybody here, who likes me in this room? Okay. I've never done this before. Can I have a pledge, a swearing? Raise your right hand. I do solemnly swear that I, no matter how I feel, no matter what the conditions, if there's hurricanes or whatever, that's good enough, will vote on or before the 12th for Donald J. Trump for president. Thank you. Now I know. Don't forget, you all raised your hand, you swore. Bad things happen if you don't live up to what you just did.
Crap, he almost went 10 minutes without threatening someone.
That's amazing.
Couldn't quite squeak in there.
Before we get to the serious stuff, who puts whatever in a pledge?
Yeah. Or whatever.
If hurricanes or whatever happens.
Yeah. By the way, you guys probably didn't notice. Maybe we could go just to a still shot. There's a guy behind him to the left, two over. Not the dog. Oh, the wearing the
wall,
white.
yes.
Yes. So he's wearing a clothing. You'll see once they zoom out. Maybe you can jump ahead. He's wearing his hat says Trump's wall. He's made to look like the wall. You see him right there?
Yeah.
Mexico will pay is written on his chest. I think he means pay financially, but I'm not entirely sure. There's some chance it's a revenge thing.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
as you're having people put their arms out forward like that, to have someone in the crowd also having a shirt that says Mexico will pay is not the best way to go. But for Trump, it is. This is his bread and butter.
Yeah, and look, there are some people in the audience that are doing, look, everybody raise your hands. This is me raising my hand. There's some people who immediately snap to attention and thrust their hand out. They've been to meetings like this before, I think.
Look, I can't believe I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to go ahead and defend that crowd. Mm-hmm. I do not respect Trump supporters, right? But I believe in being fair to them. A lot of people are comparing this to a Nazi salute. I think that's unfair. I don't think that was his intention. I don't even think it really looks that way, to be honest. I think there's a bunch of people raising their hand like you would normally raise your hand.
You're being too nice.
Maybe
and I'll say
I'm being
why.
too nice.
Look, when this first came out, I laughed at them because it's funny. And then I thought, okay, we're going a little bit too far.
Yeah.
And look, and Trump supporters have tweeted out photos showing the rallies of other candidates who have their hands up in the air. Bernie Sanders, all of his rallies look like that, but they're actually holding up smartphones because they can't just watch things. They have to record it because millennials have problems. But so that seems totally fair, but there was a lot of media coverage of this.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying, hey, you know, this makes us a little bit uncomfortable the way this looks. We even had Abraham Foxman, a former director of the Anti-Defamation League, saying, as a Jew who survived the Holocaust, to see an audience of thousands of people raising their hands in what looks like the Heil Hitler salute is about as offensive, obnoxious, and disgusting as anything I thought I would ever witness in the United States of America. We've seen this sort of thing at rallies of neo-Nazis. We've seen it at rallies of white supremacists. But to see it at a rally for a legitimate candidate for the presidency of the United States is outrageous. Now, at this point, you might still say, okay, they're being too serious about this. But Trump heard that criticism, and so a day goes by, and what does he do at his rally? You'll see that in this video.
Well, let me ask you most importantly, who's going to win North Carolina? Right? I think so. I think we're going to do great here. I mean, I think we're going to do great. Should we do the pledge? Should we do the pledge? Raise your hand. I swear I'm going to vote for Donald Trump next week. I swear. Right? Good. Oh, wow. Just with the people here, I think we win, right?
So look, you can say that, and look, I think you're being totally fair, and I felt the same exact way. But he hears that criticism, including from people who had family who died in the Holocaust, saying, how about we not have this imagery if possible, considering all the other stuff you've been saying and doing? And he turns around and says, F you, we're doing it again.
Okay, so it was a day later. Are we sure he heard the criticism?
I think there is no time when he is not on Twitter.
No, that's true. And Abe Foxman is very well known. The Anti-Defamation League is not a small organization, right? And they do some great work over there. And by the way, obviously they're against anti-Semitism. But they're also some of the first to speak out against vitriolic statements against Muslims.
Yeah.
Right. So they do some wonderful work there. And so it's unlikely that he didn't hear it, but more than that is the context. And I'm actually going to agree with both of you. How? I don't think the crowd knows it. I think Anna's right about that. When he says raise your hands, I don't think they're thinking, yes, I get to do the Hitler salute.
Yeah, I want to be clear. I was joking earlier about that.
Yeah. But I think I want to dispel the notion that Donald Trump doesn't know what he's doing, because I think he knows exactly what he's doing. So he does this all the time. He dips his toe in and then takes it back out, right?
Yeah.
So, David Duke, I don't know. I never heard of him. Okay. Oh, fine. I heard of him. I denounced him. The Klan, I didn't hear you. Oh, okay. Oh, fine. I denounced them, right? And you could literally get about almost a dozen examples of that in this campaign. If you see that strategy enough times, you go, oh, I get it. He wants that headline. He wants everybody who's interested in that direction to go for him. And then so that he can appear legitimate, the next time he just comes back and backpedals from it, right? And his voters to say they're low information voters is giving them too much credit, okay? So they don't see his hypocrisy. They just don't see it, right? So here, when he does it again, I think that's him dipping his toe again, right? Yeah. Saying, so I think his those guys in the rally don't know, but Trump knows. So that he sees this headline, he thinks, not a bad headline, let me do it one more day, and watch. Now going forward, he'll step away from it. Yeah. He'll say, oh, that's ridiculous, of course not, we're just doing a pledge, we're having fun.
One thing that Trump has definitely banked on during this campaign is the free advertising that he's gotten. And he's gotten that free advertising by doing controversial things. So is it possible that he knew what he was doing and he knew that the media would cover this story and he would continue getting that free coverage? Absolutely. And you're right. He will switch positions, change ideas within a second. And no one calls him out on it. Nobody really holds him accountable for that, and he gets away with it. So it might be a strategy by him. Maybe he does know what he's doing. But I certainly don't think that his supporters knew what was going on. I don't think that they were, taking part in that strategy. At least they were, unwittingly doing what they were doing. And I feel like it's an unfair criticism of their supporters, of his supporters. There's so many other things to criticize them for. This isn't one of them.
I want to show the picture, too, and then I want to add one last thing about this, which is, look, as you show the picture, it's really disconcerting. I mean, look at how bad it looks, right? And I get it. They don't mean that guy even in the front in the white hair doesn't mean to put, I don't think means to be thrusting it forward. The guy on the right's got it up. But as you look at that, especially from that angle, it looks really bad. So if you're a candidate and you see that picture and you see people complaining about it, really prominent, well-known people, don't try to get another headline out of it. Right? That is just too dirty, right? Yeah. It's one thing to do it once, it's another thing to do it a second time. But that leads me to my final point. I think Trump's, he put his toe in. Now I think his whole body's in the dirty pool, right? And I think it's going to hurt him. I think it's one too many stories about him being racist, fascist, anti-Semitic, anti-Muslim, anti-Mexican. It goes on and on.
Anti-Pope.
And I think that he's I'm going to mix two metaphors. He's jumped the shark in the dirty pool, right? And so I think now you really get a sense, if you vote for Donald Trump, there's some chance you're a racist. And I think even his supporters are getting that. And it's my sense of how this story is developing from having covered politics all this time. Number two is my sense of looking at the polls and the results of the elections. Over the weekend, he was supposed to win in Maine, and he lost. He was supposed to win big in Kentucky and Louisiana, and he didn't. He barely won, and a lot of the late deciding voters, the people that voted that day, went for Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz has had now a number of surprising wins. I think he jumped the shark.
Yeah.
So I know that everybody's been waiting for this and predicting all along that he would, and I wasn't among them. I didn't say he did. I never went along with that. But today, I do have that sense. There's only so much filth and racism you can do before even Republican voters go, well, I don't want my neighbors thinking I'm racist.